You know, some fishing trips mean more to you than others. And today's means a lot to me because we've got some absolutely horrible weather coming in the next 10 days or so. It'll be very cold, very windy, very rainy. So I know this is the last time we'll be able to fish for a while. So I'm fishing in a coastal lake real close to the coast, and we've had days of east wind. And I can already tell it's blowing in some absolutely beautiful water. So I'm gonna first try and catch a speckled trout or two. I know I'm not gonna whack them, but I'm on a big flat here that's got some grass, got some gorgeous water as I mentioned. I'm gonna cover some of this water with my favorite search rig for speckled trout, a Versamax Bolt, and underneath that, a Shrimp Creole or Red Ice TKO. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm seeing tons of mullet all through here. Definitely a good sign. I prefer to see some glass minnows, but I do like the fact there's bait in this little cove. Winds were supposed to be calm today. Haha, it's blowing 15 out of the east at least. And not only that, we're supposed to have some rain. 70% chance, starting at 9 a.m. I don't really have long. I already got spit on the way out here. The water temp this morning is 62 degrees. It's been warm the last 2 days in South Louisiana. It's about to change though. And right now we got a good hard falling tide. Not ideal for fishing these flats. You definitely prefer a rising tide this time of year. But I've definitely caught them on a fall. It can happen. I hate that we have all this rain coming because I really feel like I'm fishing against the clock. I'd love to spend a bunch of time just covering this flat looking for some fish. But I feel the pressure of that impending rain. As you can tell, my TKO is only about 2 feet under my Versamax Bolt because of the last trip I took, and I really think that's a little shallow. I'd prefer to be deeper. This cove's about 3.5 to 4 feet deep. So I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit, add a little length. There we go. See if that makes a difference. This time of year, I really like being close to that bottom. Sometimes even with that shrimp resting on the bottom and kind of hopping up each time I pop the cork. I've given this about 15 minutes, and with that rain coming, that's all the time I feel like I can afford. So I'm probably gonna come back and do this again if the rain lets me. But right now I'm gonna run into the marsh and go try and catch some fish. Because I'd love to catch some trout. But hey, day like today, beggars cannot be choosers, that's for sure. All right, we made it into the marsh. Right here on the edge of a pond. I'm hoping it has some grass and some redfish. The water's, man, perfect. Just really, really nice. Which is an indication that there probably is some grass in here. Oh, just saw some bait, that's a good sign. I'm throwing this H&H Gold Spinner with a 1/4 ounce death grip jig head and a Shrimp Creole matrix shad. Search bait I really, really love. All right, there's some grass, widgeon grass, but I'll take it. I'm targeting reds right at the moment because it just feels right with this water up and really pretty and grass around. But I'll tell you, if you've seen recent videos, you know red fishing has been tough, at least in the areas that I fish in South Louisiana lately. And actually, anglers I've talked to across the coast are saying the same thing. It has not been a good redfish winter at all. Don't know why. Don't know if it had something to do with Zeta that passed in October or what. But it's been lean. Even in this high water, my motor just got stuck, so I guess this pond's pretty shallow. It's a good reminder of how much I value my Sea-Tow membership as well as my H&H telescopic push pole, both of which I would never leave the dock without. Whew, yeah, I can see bottom. Oh goodness, this pond's really, really shallow. Yikes. All right, here's a little narrow bayou that empties into this pond. Let me take a little jaunt into here, see what we find. So in this bayou, I'm gonna throw this Clear Conscience Pro's Choice soft stick bait. These are available only at sportsmansoutfitters.com. This is a color I actually designed for fishing in this marsh. It's just super effective. And given today's conditions, I cannot see how it's not gonna produce. Gosh dang it. There he is. There he is. Nice bass. Good start to the day. All right. All right. Perfect bait for today's conditions. Fatty. I generally don't like to fish this when it's windy, which it's certainly very windy today. But with this water up over these grass beds, I really feel like this is a good option. Oh, I saw that fish hit it. I saw him hit it. That is freaking awesome. I got a bite and he let go. I kept working the bait. I don't know if it's the same fish or not, but he came 4 feet from the boat and hit this bait. Just incredible. Chunky, chunky bass. Give this SB57 crankbait a whirl. Man, this thing's been so good for me this winter. So productive. There's a fish. Oh, it's a nice fish. Nice bass. Boy, did he stop that SB57 on a dime. That's a good bass. That is a good bass. Turn the motor off. Spot lock. Chunky fish. Look how pretty. All spotted up. It's a little maddening fishing this around grass. It does come through grass very well, but you are going to get clogged here and there. But the key to fishing this bait is to fish it around grass, at least in my experience. You will have a few casts that come back looking like this. It's just part of the deal. Well worth it when the fish are hitting it. Oh, there's a fish. First cast. Just picked up the spinnerbait again. And another bass. Ooh, barely hooked. Grateful to get you, buddy. They're kind of biting everything today. Just one of those days. Warming water temps, falling tide, beautiful water, lots of grass, cloudy skies. What more could you ask for? And this to me is paradise. Way back in the marsh by myself, not fighting crowds, catching fish. I don't care what they are. Like to catch a red? Definitely. Like to bump into a trout? Certainly. The bass are gonna bite, I'll catch the bass. There's a fish. Oh, good bass. Good bass. All right. All right. Also barely hooked. You boys aren't chomping it, are you? It's funny what a little water warm-up does to those bass, because they have not been hitting reaction baits much lately at all. Past couple of weeks, you know, you've seen the videos. We've been throwing nothing but that green hornet matrix shad, frequently in the middle of bayous, and that's the only thing we can get bites on. But this water's warmed up, 62 degrees, and now they want fast moving baits. Oh, oh, lost him. Oh, what did he clock it too? Real close to the boat. He had all the leverage. All right, there's a fish. Good bass, good bass. All right. It got a little slow Our tide died. I mean, it was falling so well, and now it's just completely and utterly dead. First bite I've gotten in quite a bit. And of course, on the Green Hornet, I had to resort to what was working before. When this tide dies, it's incredible how much the fishing just shuts off. Those fish are conditioned to feed when that water's moving, and when it's not moving, they're not going to feed. So you get just one bite here, one bite there. That's all you can hope for. Oh, nice fish. Good bass. So it looks like our water's moving again. It's rising. The fall for the day is done. I much prefer a fall, but I'd much rather rise than dead, that's for sure. And it's slowly rising, but that'll pick up. This east wind's gonna rise hard, I'm sure. All right, I tried to get behind this tide, and I think I have. I think the water's falling here in this bayou. Water's really pretty, just as pretty as what we left. But I'm back in search mode, so I'm gonna throw this H&H Gold spinner, see if I can find a few fish. This bayou runs roughly east-west, so I came in from the east side because of this east wind, so I've got it behind me. Hopefully there's a few fish in here. Doesn't look terribly deep, but that's okay with this water higher than it's been. I really like those deep bayous when the water has fallen out due to a northwest wind or just extreme tides. There we go. There we go. I got 2 bites in a row and they missed it. Whoo, that was close. That's why you don't grab the line, knucklehead. Look at that. I think I would have learned by now. Years ago, I was throwing topwater baits of speckled trout, pulled a fish in, went to grab the line, like that, like we all do. The fish flopped, topwater bait flew off into my hand. I had to go to the hospital to get it taken out. Don't grab the line. Oh, there's a fish. Nice bass. All right. This spinner bait is just such a valuable search bait on days like today. They don't hit it every day, but man, when you got to cover some water, few things are better, particularly when you're fishing around patchy grass and you really can't see the edges of. That's when I like throwing this. Oh, look at that, boy. Look at that. These marshes are so full of these bass this year. So much fun. And look, I mean, I'm not doing anything special. I'm working these shorelines, just throwing this bait. And I'm not going many casts between bites. But fortunately, the grass in this area seems to be bouncing back from Zeta. And that's such a good thing. Hopefully next week's frigid cold doesn't destroy it. By the time you see this video, that cold will have already be entrenched. Been entrenched? Will already be entrenched. There we go. But hopefully it doesn't knock that grass back too badly. This grass continues. Oh! Oh man, it's just crazy good. Oh, look at this. Beautiful bass. About a 1 pounder. Maybe a little shy of that. But just so fat. Just so pretty. So I got a few questions about this a few videos back. I've begun adding some Okuma stuff to my arsenal. And that's what this is, this Komodo SS. Oh, look at, I saw him hit it. Look at that. Oh, he came off. Oh, that was a nice bass. I watched him hit it. Second time today. Anyway, as I was saying, this Komodo SS, this is only maybe the third time I've used it, second or third time. Really like it. Also really like this rod. It's a Guide Select. It's a 6.9, medium power. I've got it spooled with 15-pound soft steel mono. And this is my spinnerbait rig. And man, I tell you what, outfitting properly for a spinnerbait is so important. If you're not rigged right, you're gonna lose a lot of the fish that hit it. Of course, I just lost that one, but that's the first one I lost today. He hit me too close to the boat. All right, the promised rain has begun to fall. It's really kind of just a mist right now, but I'm gonna take you through the baits that I used today and why they're really all you need to have success in the marsh right now. All right, the first obviously is a bait I fish all the time. Number 4 H&H Gold Spinner, soft wire spinner, not the hard wire one. Hard wire one is fine if you wanna go target reds. I even prefer this one for redfish. Definitely prefer it when I'm just out in the marsh trying to catch fish. I got that teamed with a 1/4 ounce death grip jig head and a shrimp creole matrix shad. Staple for me. It's a bait you can work fast, cover a whole lot of water, and try and find some areas that are holding fish. Then you can kind of slow down and maybe fine tune what you want to throw to them. Definitely never leave home without this. Another search bait is this SB57. This is a better bait to throw when you've got hard grass edges or kind of more sparse grass. If you've got a bunch of patches of grass that you can't necessarily see, day like today, visibility is not the best. I prefer to throw the spinner bait just because you get clogged too much with this. But this thing always shines around grass, so don't think you can't throw it in that situation. But again, I like it when you have hard grass edges that are defined, that you know where they are. That's when I really like this bait, and I caught a bunch of fish on this today. Now, I like to twitch it. Most people just kind of crank it, straight retrieve it, whatever. I like to twitch it. I find it's more successful, more productive that way, but figure out what works for you. Next is this Pro's Choice soft stick bait. It's kind of a Senko style bait, right? I fish it weightless. Also do fish it Texas rigged with a weight, but I love throwing this thing when the water in these marshes is pretty, like it was today. It's just so productive. It's a slower style of fishing. I like to do this when I get in areas that I've found fish with these other baits, or that I'm confident have fish. There's nothing like going to make that next twitch with this bait and feeling tension. Like something just doesn't feel right, and then you set the hook and you got that bass. Really fun style of fishing. And then last but certainly not least, the good old Green Hornet Matrix Shad. I caught some fish again on this today. Been so good this whole winter. I've got it on an 1/8 ounce death grip jig head. Most of the winter we've thrown it on a 1/4 ounce, but the areas I was fishing today were more shallow, so I went with the 1/8. And of course I got it on 12-pound fluorocarbon mainline. That's been so important to catching fish on this year as well. That'll change, I promise you. As we move into spring, I'm gonna switch back to that braid, no doubt about it, but this has been working so well. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.